If you're feeling exhausted, disconnected, like you're going through the motions but running on empty, you're not alone. You might be in burnout. And no, you don't need to quit your job, take a sabbatical, or wait for a magical time off to start healing. In this video, I'm going to share a realistic, compassionate way to recover from burnout while still working. These are the steps that I've used myself and I use with my clients. And they're especially for you if you're tired of hearing, just rest more, be more mindful, or this is the perfect routine that you need. This is a pretty complex topic, and my intention is not to get you overwhelmed, but to give you an overview and find the one actionable step that you can implement right now. So listen carefully, not just to this video, but also to your body. As the first quest on this journey will be to choose one, yes, only one action step that you and your body needs the most on this recovery journey right now. Let's take it one small step at a time. Hi, my name is Yana, and I lived in severe burnout mode for years. I used to be a tax consultant, but my own recovery journey made me so passionate about helping others. Because the struggles that we face every day are real, and there is so much more to life than just surviving from one day to another. I truly believe that everyone can build life on their own terms, and that is what I'm trying here to help you with. Burnout can feel so isolating, and we can easily get the feeling that we are the only ones who are struggling. Actually, that is what made me share my own journey online. We can only do one small change at a time, especially when we are burned out. We need to create a small space to be able to implement bigger changes. So that's why I want to highlight that this is not a video to implement all at once. Let's focus on the one small action that we can integrate today. We will be able to create a little more space and to gain a little more energy so that we have the energy to focus on the bigger changes. So let's dive in. This is not about discipline or the perfect plan. As you might already know, burnout isn't a time management problem. It's a nervous system issue. Maybe you've already tried to create a perfect plan that you will start on Monday, the perfect routine, and if you just stick to this plan, everything will be fine. But let me tell you this. How many times have you tried this energy? Has it worked? Maybe it's time to try something different. You are not burned out because you're undisciplined or doing life wrong. Burnout is a signal that something is no longer working. And healing starts when we stop blaming ourselves and start listening to what our body, mind, and heart are trying to say. Let me highlight this point again. Burnout is not a personal failure. It is a signal, and it's time to shift out of your self-blame. A reminder I use every day, even now, is to stop waiting for once. Once this project is over, once I finish this deadline, once I get that promotion. If you've been living in this mindset of once I get there, everything will be fine, or I will be finally able to rest and then burnout will go away. Unfortunately, this is not that easy. Maybe you've already heard about the arrival fallacy. What we usually think is that the next milestone will solve all our problems. But the truth is, real recovery begins when we stop postponing rest, when we find a little space for joy, and when we start creating sustainable change. You don't need a perfect moment. You just need a small one. Small one for you to start taking care of yourself. So please, don't delay joy, rest, or change until everything's perfect. Start today. One thing that we need to do at the beginning of our journey is to do an energy audit. This is basically an exercise where you ask yourself, what's draining me the most right now? Where do I feel most depleted or resentful? This isn't about overhauling everything. It's about identifying where you're losing the most energy so you know where to begin. It is important to understand your drainers, but it is also very important to understand what gives you energy. I know that maybe when you're burned out and totally depleted from any energy, this might be very hard to find. But if you already know that some activity or some connections give you energy, that's also a great sign to focus on those. So asking yourself, for example, what's stealing your energy and what's giving you some, this gives you clarity. If you're not sure what stage of your transformation to an aligned life you're currently in, feel free to check a free fun quiz that helps you discover what's holding you back from a fulfilling life aligned with your values. And I'll make sure to put the link in the description. Okay, we did an energy audit, and we now know what gives us energy, what drains our energy, and where we feel the most depleted. This is the time to create boundaries based on this audit. Because maybe it's the one recurring meeting, or always saying yes when you mean to say no. Boundaries don't have to be harsh, they can be loving. A simple, I'm at capacity this week, can be so powerful. I know we could talk about boundaries a lot more, but think of them as a way to protect your healing, not to push others away. But in this short overview, just try to think about one thing that it will be most helpful to you to set clearer boundaries. Because you need to protect your time and energy, and you can do it gently but firmly. One of my favorite tools in this whole list is to start with a 2-minute self check in. This is for you if you're not sure where to start. Begin with a couple of 2-minute pauses each day. Okay, begin with one. Try to build this as a habit. For example, every day after your lunch break, before you start the next part of your day, pause. Find a couple of minutes just for yourself. Set a timer so you can be sure that it doesn't take longer than you have time for. And you can really easily start with just 2 minutes. Close your eyes, breathe. It's always helpful to breathe longer on the way out because this activates our parasympathetic nervous system. That's just a little tip. Set a timer, breathe, and ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? What is it that my body needs the most right now? This will help you build a habit asking yourself your needs and listen to your body like before it starts shouting, before it's too late. You can create these small, very tiny spaces where you actually listen to your body. You can try to unclench. Most often, we hold tension in our jaws or neck and shoulders. Try to move a little bit or breathe into those spaces to release this tension. Sometimes your body will shout that it needs some water or that it needs to go to toilet. It might be even things like this to tell you, but without pushing our bodies too far beyond the threshold. So if you don't know where to start, try this one. Try it for a couple of days and start with as little as just 2 minutes. This helps you reconnect with yourself without needing an hour-long routine. This is super tangible and very low effort and low time investment, but this is extremely powerful tool. And if you feel that it's very little, implement 2. Maybe at the start of your day, in the middle, and at the end. You can even set an intention for the rest of your day or for the next phase of your day throughout this 2-minute check-in. Start reconnected with how you actually feel in small, doable ways. What do we need most when we're burned out? Most of the time, we need rest. And rest doesn't have to be dramatic. It can look like closing your eyes for 5 minutes. Rest can even be stepping outside, You're allowed to rest even when the to-do list isn't done, especially then. Burnout recovery starts with nervous system safety, not more productivity hacks. So do a short self-care activity and rest. Micro rest and nervous system resets matter more than perfect routines. And most importantly, these are the things that we can implement into our busy lives. As we need to learn how to rest guilt-free, the next part is to shift your self-talk. Notice what your inner voice is saying. Is it kind? Is it supportive? Or is it critical and demanding? Start gently challenging that voice. You don't have to believe every thought you think. Try speaking to yourself the way you would to a dear friend. You're doing your best, and it's okay to rest. You don't need to earn your right to rest. Rest is a necessity. It is not a luxury. Even though it can feel like that when we're very busy, burned out, and in this season of life when there's more to do than we can manage within a day. So address your self-talk, notice the inner critic, and begin to shift the internal narrative. Shifting my self-talk was the one thing that changed everything for me. That's why I even created a course on silencing your inner critic and learning how to talk to yourself in a way that is supportive. I don't know whether this is the one for you, but I'm just telling you that this was the thing that changed everything for me. And this leads to the next point on the list. Choose self-compassion. Once we're talking to ourselves nicely, the point is to be self-compassionate. Because burnout, it often comes from years of pushing through. But let me ask you this. If pushing through hasn't worked so far on your recovery, maybe it's time to try something different. And the healing path is different. It's not about force, it's about care. The question becomes, what will it look like to support myself today rather than fix myself? There is nothing wrong with you to fix. So focus on self-compassion. Replace push through with care through. This is the mindset foundation. And with enough self-compassion, life gets so much easier. If you're burned out, you've probably been here for a while. And burnout is rarely just about the work hours. It is rarely just about the demands of life. Usually, it's a signal that something deeper needs to change. So explore the root cause. It's things like your perfectionism, people-pleasing, over-identifying with achievement. Start noticing your patterns. What are you repeating that's no longer serving you? I know these are very difficult questions, but you don't need to answer them in this moment. Just having them on your mind can help you find the answers. So what are the patterns you keep repeating? Is it perfectionism, overgiving, or do you feel misaligned with your values? Start from the bare minimum. What if you did less, but more intentionally? Each day you can ask yourself, what are my true non-negotiables today? Not the perfect imaginary day, just the essentials. This creates room to breathe, reset, and rebuild. We often want to do it all. We often want to somehow manage to fit everything into the day. But especially when you're burned out, you need to come to the bare minimum. What are the non-negotiables? And let go of the rest. Check the foundations. This is so important, even though I cannot cover everything in this video. Just think about it for a moment. The way we feel, the way our bodies feel, can affect so much. These aren't glamorous, but they matter. So come back to the foundations. Sleep, basic movement, and nourishing meals are the ground you stand on. Start small. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier. Walk around your block. Drink water before coffee. These are the small shifts that can help, but your body needs to feel safe again. And These basics are the foundations for a healthy life and even for a healthy mind. Small, consistent actions over big overhauls. We often believe that we can think our way through everything. We would like to intellectualize everything, and we would like to think our way even from burnout. But this is your nervous system crying for help, and the state our bodies are in affect the lens we see our lives through. And I'm sure you know it. You know how differently you feel and react when you are hungry, haven't slept well, or sat all day in front of your computer. I know it can sound unimaginable. You can use all the excuses that exist, like everyone's busy, everyone has so much going on for themselves. But you are not meant to carry everything alone. You can ask for help at work. You can ask for help at home, even if it feels uncomfortable. Let people show up for you. It builds trust, not weakness. This helps you realize that you are truly not alone. Once we talk to people and ask for help and talk about what you're going through openly with your close ones, and you create a safe space to talk about it, which always strengthens the relationship. You are not a burden. Let people show up for you because this builds trust and connection. If it's safe, talk to your boss. If you can, share what you're going through. You are a valuable part of the team, and they surely want to keep you and help you recover. Maybe it's asking to adjust your workload or shift deadlines. You don't have to share everything, but opening that conversation can make a big difference. Share your limits, share your needs, or share the capacity if it's safe to do so. Advocate for yourself. Seek professional help. Burnout is real, and it's okay to need support. Once we are talking about this support system that you can create in your home or at your work, what is important is to talk to professionals. Therapy, coaching, or medical help can provide tools you don't have to figure out alone. You deserve this support. You are truly not alone in this, and you don't need to go through it alone. Don't count on vacations to save you. A weekend away won't heal a chronic pattern. Weekend at spa won't save you from years of neglecting your self-care and yourself. Burnout recovery happens in small daily shifts, not in a once-a-year breaks. Vacation can help, sure, but they cannot replace daily restoration. So don't count on vacations and long weekends to save you. Burnout recovery is a daily practice, not a temporary escape. This is a difficult one. I'm going to say this. Bring back joy and play. I know when we're deep in burnout mode, we may even lose the ability to feel joy. But if you can create a little space for something that brings this spark into your life, that creates joy, that you can just simply play, do it. Even for a few minutes, this is so important, and this can really change the outlook of your life. So you have now the permission to prioritize moments that are purely for play and joy for yourself. What lights you up, even for 5 minutes? Is it paint, or you can dance, just dance for one song if you like. Garden, play, whether it's board games or something else, or creating. I love DIY. You are not just here to perform and produce. Life is about so much more, and the joy isn't a luxury. It's a part of healing. Even as it might seem very distant at this moment, but think about ways how you could bring back joy and play into your life. Even 5 minutes a day helps restore your sense of self. Think about the things that you liked doing, for example, when you were a child, and find a way how to bring them back into your life. Connect with nature. Nature is nervous system medicine. Step outside, unplug. Even if you are in a city, go to your window and count the trees that you can see, or For a couple of minutes, notice the patterns of the clouds that you can see, or look for how many birds you can spot. Even these small changes can shift perspective and help us connect with nature a little more, even in a busy city. When you hear connect with nature, don't think, okay, now I need to plan this weekend long getaway in the forest 2 hours from my city or even longer. It's looking at the ways, how can I do this right now? Or in what ways can I connect with nature that is as close to me as possible? I often watch the squirrels outside my window on the trees out there. So that's how I connect with nature every morning before I turn on my computer, which is right here. Small changes, small shifts, and the question remains, what can I do today? What can I do right now? And what is the tiniest possible version of this action that I want to bring into my life today to help me create this little space for bigger changes next? And trust that you can change. Thanks to neuroplasticity, our brains are still evolving. Your brain can rewire. You can unlearn burnout patterns and build new, supportive ones. With time and consistency, your nervous system can feel safe again. And from that safety, real change becomes possible. So, neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to create new neural patterns. So, you can trust that you can change. And thanks to neuroplasticity, we can retrain our brains to support us on this burnout recovery journey. We can create this safety that our nervous system needs to build new, helpful patterns. Create supportive routines. Recovery needs rhythm. When something is already a habit, it's so easy to keep doing it. So this is not about rigid schedules, but this is more about supportive systems. A calming morning ritual. Very short. Again, forget about the perfect morning routine. A midday reset. For example, the 2-minute check-in. An evening wind down. 15 minutes without your phone before bed. This all helps. These routines build the safety that your nervous system needs to be able to heal. And let me remind you again, start with just one thing. Please don't try to do all of this at once. There's so much. And maybe you are already doing some of that, which is great. Pick one thing from this video. Something that feels doable, manageable, something that resonates with you right now, something that your body needs right now. And begin there. Burnout recovery isn't a big leap. It's 1,000 small steps toward yourself. Start with only one thing from this list to implement daily. Choose what resonates most. You're building something real here. You're building something that will last. This is not about big overhaul that you can keep up for a couple of days or weeks. This is about sustainable change. And please let me know below what is the one thing that makes most sense to you right now. Or share below what was the thing that helped you most on your burnout recovery journey if you already went through that. For me, it was definitely the inner self-talk. And I even created an online course about it, as it was such an eye-opener for me. If this video spoke to you, I hope you'll subscribe for more. I share tools and gentle guidance to help you heal from burnout, reconnect with yourself, and build a life that feels like yours again. And until next time, please remember, you are not alone. You are not lazy. You are not broken. And you are healing. And please know that the real change is possible for you. Thanks for watching.